TV, advancing kingdom lifestyle.
Wow, good morning, and of course, praise the Lord. This is Tuesday morning. I have to remind you, because anytime you see me behind this camera, just know it's a Tuesday morning. And what we do every Tuesday morning, we come and we talk about leadership. Remember, as we have always said, everything falls and rises on leadership. And again, we have said, even if you do not know, you are leading. Either you are being led or you are leading. And so when we talk about leadership, we are talking about you being led or you leading. And so on Tuesday, I ask you to do very simple things. Call someone, tell that person Apostle Patrick Muriithi is in Elevate TV on his leadership show. When we come here, we talk and we ask questions. My work is simply to read your question, read your comment, and then throw it to my guest. Remember, my guests don't just guess, they come to say what it is. This Tuesday, I have a very, very special guest. Why is it special? I've always said, in this show, we don't invite armchair generals. We invite people who are doing the job. Because how else do we make the show practical? We can only make it practical by bringing people who are doing it. I have a very special guest. I know behind there you are asking, who is this? I'll be telling you about him. But do me a favor, share the link. Go to Elevate TV, Facebook, and also in YouTube. Share, and let's start talking about it. Today, we are talking about leadership, and our topic is really on leading in a balanced way. The person that is talking to us, I have known him, and I have seen him lead in a balanced way. Do you remember somewhere in the Bible says that David had men who used both hands, and they were able to balance both hands. My guest is able to balance leadership in church. He has done leadership in a secular world, not the secular, but in the contemporary world, if I put it that way. But I have seen him succeed in always. My guest is Bishop Jackson Kingori. I'll give him a chance to greet you and tell you more about himself. Bishop, karibu sana.
Thank you so much, Apostle Patrick. It's a great honor for me to be here and to be hosted by you. Really, it's a great honor. I don't take for granted. And for our viewers, my name's Bishop Jackson Kingori, and I'm married, number one, and God has blessed us with 3 wonderful children and 3 grandkids, and I am a minister of the gospel. Basically, I have been in the U.S. now for over 20, almost 9 years going by, but I am now in transition, coming to start some work here in Kenya, or rather to advance the work here in Kenya and to be part of what God is doing back in our country. I'm also an entrepreneur. I'm also involved in many other sectors of empowering people, growing our economy, mentoring people, as well as community empowerment. So I come here from that perspective, and I hope and believe that our discussions today will help somebody, or will encourage somebody to tap into the potential of what God has made you to be. Thanks so much.
You know, Bishop, I'm so happy and really humbled to have you here.
Yes.
This is a show I've always looked forward, you know, because I know anybody listening to you today will be enlightened.
Amen.
At least in our relationship and the working together, I have seen you as a man who has, you know, the real jewel when it comes to leadership. And I've, you know, having learned in, you know what, you can give us a few backgrounds of where your leadership has been, you know, where you have been involved in leadership, so that when we start now, when people start asking questions, they can ask from, you know, outside the church and inside the church.
Thank you again. I think I can trace my leadership qualities and passion way back in primary school, where I was a prefect right from when I was in standard 5. But then I went to for my O levels. I was a captain in the school that I was. Then I went for my A levels, where I was also the deputy head boy for the whole school from Form 1 to Form 6. And then when I left there, I got employed in Kingori, just behind here, where I rose to the level of a manager. And from Kingori, I had a period of being in the UK, in England for my graduate course, and I came back here. I was employed as a manager of insurance by corporate insurance company, and from there I got promoted to be a general manager of Gateway Insurance Company, and then from Gateway I also got another job as a general manager with Mercantile Life and General Insurance, where I was also the general manager. And from there, by the grace of God, we located to the USA with my family. On green card that time, they were the first time, we were among the first people to get green cards. And when I went to the US, it took me 2 years to fight myself back in the leadership of an insurance company, where I was an underwriter in one of the biggest insurance companies in the US. And I worked there for 13 years. And I felt I need to change my career and answer the call of being a minister. And that's when I resigned and started Neema Gospel Church. So that also gives you an element of being a founder. Founders are also leaders. We started from ground zero, and by the grace of God, the church has grown. I have been privileged to be the pastor, the senior pastor, and now the bishop of Neema Gospel Churches, both in the US and here. And when I was in the US, or for the time I've been in the US, I was also the chairman of the DFW, or Dallas Fort Worth Pastors Forum Association. That is a forum whereby all pastors, all churches, particularly Kenyan diaspora churches, we congregate and have conferences, we have meetings, we have all these kind of things. I was also the president, or the chair of the Kenya Christian Fellowship in America for the whole of Texas. Wow. For a couple of years. And after that, I also served as the chair of the Marriage Dynamic National Forum in the US for the whole of the US. This is an organization that is involved with equipping and empowering couples all over the US. I was the vice chairman to Bishop Armstrong Chege, who is the chair. And recently, I was also a committee member of the Diaspora Pastoral Forum in the US. So you can see my track record has been involved in leadership at every angle, not forgetting that I'm also the head of my family. Yes.
You know, that's a nice one. Yes. You know, I'm just listening to you, and reminds me of this guy. He had just lunch.
Yes.
And he had a glorified body. You know what that means?
Yes.
And then getting out of a hotel, he found he had a flat tire. And now you can imagine bending to change the tire. The tummy would not allow, and he had eaten.
Yes.
So he kept on going around the vehicle, going around the car, trying to see where to start. Then another young man was watching. He came and said, "Boss, let me do it for you." Now I'm listening to you, and I'm trying to go around you to understand where do I begin. You know, after all that, man, when you talk like that, I'm like, we have an institution in the show. and we are going to green to make sure that we get everything that can be of help.
Thank you.
So the man is here. The man has told you who he is, and of course, I can assure you, he just touched on what is relevant for this show.
Yes.
So I want you to keep on sharing, and I ask a question if you must. Moses Okoth, thank you so much. I can see you. He says, great topic, and of course, a seasoned leader. He is happy to have you here. And the person Pri says, exemplary leader. So we are talking about balanced leadership. And you know, Bishop, we are people who are not able to balance. For example, if somebody becomes a Christian, everything else stops, is in church. And there are those who still, they are not in church, and for them, church should not be mentioned. Now, here we have others who, they get married, they lead the wife, for example. When children come, they lose the balance.
Yes.
I mean, when we talk about balanced leadership, it is a whole big topic. But I would want us to look at leadership balance in terms of you are people, you are leading people, you are not losing them, and you are not losing yourself. You get what I mean?
Yes, yes.
And so I want to give you the floor to first lay the foundation, then we can move on.
That's a very interesting discussion because leaders come in all forms of shapes. And leadership is one of those subjects that is so wide and so deep because, like you mentioned, even a student is a leader who leads others, just like the president is a leader of the nation. So leadership cuts across from the smallest unit to the highest unit. But when you talk about balanced leadership, I believe that any good leader worth his salt should be felt holistically, not just in one aspect. You cannot be a good leader in marketplace and not be a good leader in family. You cannot be a good leader in family and not be a good leader in community. So for you to be an effective, what I call an A+ leader, you must be balanced in terms of how you deal with people, how you deal with resources, and how you deal with the time. In fact, that's very important to talk about. But for me, what has helped me in terms of being the leader I am today is guided by a 3A prone. And the number 1A is awareness. Awareness. Being aware of who you are, my identity, at different sectors that I'm leading. For example, when I'm leading my family, I'm aware that I'm a father. And I'm aware that I'm a priest. So I have to make sure that everything I do and say align to that level of leadership. When I go to the community, I'm aware that people are looking up to me as an example. So being aware of your identity and also being aware of the grace that you carry. Because I cannot be you, you cannot be me. So the grace I carry is different. I'm a community-based person. I love people. And that's the heartbeat. So I have to be aware of my grace, aware of my identity, aware of my grace, and then I must be aware of what you call as my calling. What is my calling? Because if you're not aware of your calling, then you'll be running up and down, trying to please everybody, and forgetting your call. And most of in the spiritual aspects, as a pastor, as a bishop, I must know my calling or my grace, apostle.
You know, Bishop. Allow me to say this.
Yes.
You know, you are really a specimen, if I put it that way. I've observed you and trying to understand your leadership, and that's, believe me, that's why I had to have you. I mean, I had to have you come here. For example, when I saw the way you raised, you spent money on 100 women, widows,
Yes.
Buying cows for 100 or more actually.
Actually, it was 100 and then 126 in Kitui.
100 cows for widows.
Yes.
Then in Kitui, more than 100 again.
126.
126.
Yeah.
Then you went to Nakuru, again 100. You know, that is a unique way of leadership. So when you say you love people, you are a community person, you know, if I was marking that exam,
Yeah.
you have an A+.
Thank you.
And you bring the issue of awareness, being aware. Somebody will try doing like you. They raise money, buy cows, and the next thing you hear, they have a farm. they have a milk factory.
Yes.
They turned what was supposed to go to widows to make them theirs. And I think that is very powerful.
Amen.
Wow.
Amen.
Awareness.
Awareness. Yeah. Also on awareness, it's also good to know to be aware of your vulnerability. Particularly some of us who deal with people. You have to be aware that we can be vulnerable. People can exploit us, and they have done that because they take advantage of your generosity, and they'll come with all kind of excuses and they'll exploit you. So you must be aware of your vulnerability and be able to put in guard boundaries of when do you say yes and when do you say no, or what do you do, because not everything that glitters as gold, you know, not every community need that you can meet. That's why awareness of your vulnerability, awareness of your grace, awareness of your identity are very important. They go hand in hand.
Wow.
And also awareness of your environment. The environment, for example, now I'm in Kenya. The environment is different from the environment in the US. So when I got here, the first thing was to try to understand our people. Because if I'm not able to understand the environment I'm in, then I'll be operating like I'm the US.
Yeah.
And crashing with everybody who is here because my expectations are different. So that awareness is very important. And as a leader, you need to be aware of the environment you're in so that you adjust yourself to that environment. And that's good leadership. And the last awareness is awareness of your personality. Personality.
Yeah.
All of us have different personalities. You have a great personality, Apostle, and I love your personality.
I don't know it.
My personality is different. So I'm aware, I have to be aware of my personality. And this is important when it comes to interpersonal relationship with people. Even in church, one of the things I encourage pastors is to do an exam to evaluate yourself to know what is your personality. Because if your personality is, for example, what you call as a melancholy, you are detailed and analytical. You tend to judge people based on that lens of being analytical. And then you need to adjust. So awareness of personality, awareness of environment, awareness of my identity, my grace, my calling are very important for a leader. And I think that's one that has helped me.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
Man. Well, remember we agreed that if you are joining this show, a book and a pen, because mine has to be educative. And so I have Nesh says Great Leadership Forum, and then Shalom says, Lungu says Connected, that's from Zambia, and Powerful Leadership Dynamics. This is Peterson. Thank you, Peterson. We continue, learning. So that balance is very good, Bishop.
Yes.
So be aware.
Be aware.
Yes.
And there's another, there are 4 A's. That was just the first A.
The first one. But you said be aware of your personality.
Yes.
Be aware of your calling.
Yes.
Be aware of your identity.
Yes.
That's very powerful.
And vulnerability.
And vulnerability.
And environment.
And environment.
Yes.
And I think so many people have been because of vulnerability, so many leaders have given up.
Exactly.
Have given up.
Yeah.
And others have quit, thinking that maybe they were not called, but just because of being in the wrong place. I love that.
And that should be taken, that vulnerability should be taken care of by the other A, which we say accountability.
Accountability.
Yes.
Go on now.
As a leader, you need to be accountable. When you talk about accountability, it's a bit wide. Again, it's holistic. Because I'm a person who believes that I'm a human. Even being, in as much as I'm a leader, I'm also human beings. And as a human being, it's easy to make a poor judgment, or make a mistake, or be presumptuous sometimes.
Yeah.
So because of it, and because of the vulnerability that we are exposed to, it's good to be accountable to somebody. Somebody who checks on you. You see, like you and I, we check on each other. I feel accountable to you. And there is that relationship. So accountability is very important. And not just being accountable to somebody, but even being accountable to yourself. To have a checklist of things that you check every morning. Am I aligning myself? Am I towing the line? Am I going out of my boundaries? Also being accountable, of course, it starts with being accountable to God, who is the overall judge. And then there's accountable to God, accountable to yourself, then accountable to other people who are your like mentors.
Wow.
People who mentor you. People who can hold you at your standard. People who can tell you, don't do this. People who can rebuke you. People who can encourage you. People that will be there for you in the midnight hour. That accountability level is very important.
Wow.
And I think one of the things I find in ministry is that when you get that level of being a pastor or a bishop, we think we know it all, or we have it all. And so when you make an error, or you make a mistake, or you fall out of grace, there's nobody that comes to check on you or to protect you.
Wow.
Or to be accountable. So that accountability is very important. It also goes apostle in what I call being accountable in our day-to-day life, even our finances. I'm a great believer that I need to be accountable in my finances, both my family finances and even in church finances. Because the Bible says judgment will start in the house of God. And we cannot hold other people accountable to that level if we ourselves are not accountable. So that's my philosophy, and that's something that has happened. That is the other A, awareness, accountability.
So, Bishop, sorry if I keep, holding you.
Good. Yeah.
Because I know, I don't know. I mean, all these years since Adam, we have never had a show like this. I don't know the next time God gives us a chance. So allow me to slow you sometimes if you see me like I'm taking you back.
That's good.
Because the leader we are talking about balanced leadership.
Yes.
And I like the aspect you are bringing, accountability.
Yes.
And there are so many people whose leadership has come to an end or been messed up because they feel like they should not be accountable, or they are not aware that they are supposed to be accountable. Where someone feels, if I'm accountable to God, who are you? Why should I mean, as long as God is happy with me, why should I care?
Well, I'll tell them it's good to be accountable to God, but remember, we're not in heaven yet. We're still on earth.
And the one thing that makes the show
Yes.
A different show is because I keep asking people to give us their experiences.
Yes.
Yeah. An area where you either felt like there you are not accountable and it affected you, or an area where you are like, this has worked because of my accountability. But we'll be coming back to that. Let's go to the next A.
The next A is what we call authentic. Being real. Being genuine. Be yourself.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't be a duplicate. Don't be a copy of somebody else. There are many things that I would like to be, but I realize I can't be, because I'm not wired like them. And I'm proud to be who I am. So authentic is very important.
Wow.
As a leader, because when you're authentic, you don't have to check over your shoulder what people are saying, because you are representing your realness. You get the point?
Yeah.
It's really being genuine and being real in your output, in your input. in every aspect of your life. Now, when you're authentic, you become confident of yourself. You become confident of yourself. And then of course, you're humble. Yeah, because authenticity has a way of making someone humble, because they're not competing to be accepted or to be celebrated. First of all, they have received themselves, they have accepted themselves. Wow. That this is me. These are my limits.
Yes.
These are my strengths. And these are my weaknesses. So as a leader, we need to be very authentic. Don't try to overdo. Just walk at the level of your grace.
Wow.
And with due time, the Lord will take you to the next level.
You know, really that's very powerful.
Yeah.
Because I think I mean, in your area of minister and the people you have worked with, there are people who show you the wrong sign.
Yes.
And by the time you get to know, they cannot perform 20% of what they showed you.
Exactly.
Because they were not authentic.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. So that authentic is very, very important as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Now, the other A, which is maybe the last A, is what you call adaptability. Being adaptable.
Okay.
Yeah, being adaptable. As a leader, you cannot be rigid. You must be adaptable. In other words, you must be flexible. Because we live in changing seasons, changing times, changing locations, and changing people. So you cannot operate on the 17th century principles, and you are on the 21st or 22nd generation. So that adaptability is very, very important.
Wow.
It is called open leadership. You are open-minded. You are not closed. And there are people that are so difficult to deal with because they have a closed mind. What if they look at this wall and they see it's green? Even if you paint it white, they still not see it's white.
You know.
Yeah.
There is something we will talk about, adaptability.
Yes.
But we are going to take a very short break.
Okay.
Just a short one.
Yes.
And then after that we come back and continue.
Okay.
And I'm really liking, especially that place of adaptability, because there's something I'll be asking you on that.
Okay.
Well, my guest is doing what I ask my guests to do. Is to educate us, is to talk to us, is to be open, you know, and they share from their heart. And my guest is doing exactly that. Keep writing, keep asking that question. I'll be coming back to ask him the question on your behalf. This man is in this country now to stay. And by the way, I'll be telling you what you'll be doing the other week on 15th.
Yes.
I'll be telling you what he is doing on 15th. This man has come to be a blessing to this nation. Please don't go until I tell you on 15th something serious is happening, and I'll be sharing that. We'll take a short break, 2 minutes. We'll be back after that.
Je, unafanya nini wakati mwingine ukipoteza tumaini?
Ilikuwa kubwa because it was 3/4 kilo cancer tumor.
Nikasikia mimi mambo ya Biblia
Moyo unashuka kabisa.
Nikachukua Biblia yangu, nikatoka kwa ibada.
Unakimbilia wapi wakati changamoto za maisha zimekukumba ukapoteza tumaini?
So I was gambling on the two. Nizikwe Lang'ata au pahali next to grave ya my dad.
Andiko anasema katika Wakolosai 1:27, Kristo ndani yetu, tumaini la utukufu.
Hata kama kuna shida mbele yako kama mlima, uamini kwamba mtaondolewa.
Hapa utapata ushindi na mwishowe utapata tumaini kwa sababu ya maisha yako ya siku itwapo leo.
Even at your sunset, you can still trust God.
Idhaa ya Tumaini, hivi karibuni kutoka Elevate TV. Jina langu ni Mchungaji Sam.
Did I tell you that I also want to go to heaven? So that's why I have to tell the truth. When I say 2 minutes, it's 2 minutes. I told you I'll be back in 2 minutes. Here I am. And the show, remember we are talking about balanced leadership. Today, allow me, before we even get back to my guest, let me read some comment because this time I was carried, I almost forgot. Alexander Kagwa is saying awareness, a good principle. Gerald Murugi, yes, thank you, I can see you. Awareness, powerful. And then Mwalimu Francis Giri says, great discourse, I have an available book, effective leadership. You're saying that's a book one can read. Kosawa. Balanced leadership principles, awareness, accountability, authenticity. Thank you, Alexander. Thank you for even doing that great recap for us. But there's a question here, Bishop. Michael Mwatha is asking, what do you do when your leader or group doesn't understand you? I think we will answer that question because it was asked before we went on break. For break, he needs to get an answer. Then we go back to accountability, awareness, where we were. And then Peterson Priest says the bishop is dispensing the grace of leadership. And of course, Lucy Nyawela says, following this great discussion, thank you, Lucy. Keep on telling someone, keep on sharing. This show must help someone. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Yes, Bishop. Do you want to answer that question? Then we go to where we were.
I can try to answer it, and you also help me to answer it.
Yeah.
What do you do when the people you're leading don't understand you? Okay. I think the first thing I should also ask the person is, do you yourself understand the people you're leading? Because much of it is what you call disconnect levels. You could be leading a people that you're very disconnected. And so the dynamics of the group should dictate now what you're talking about adaptability. What you need to be flexible. I'll give you a good example. It's like you're leading Generation Z on the perspectives of old-time religion. A good example is you keep on using King James, and there's nothing, and I like King James. But Generation Z don't understand, don't relate some of the thys and thous that are used in King James. So it is now for you as a leader to understand the changing threads within your group and be adapted to them. So that's how I can look at it.
Wow.
What do you think?
Yeah, of course, Bishop, from my side, I can't answer. I am just hosting.
Okay.
But anyway, I think what you said was very powerful.
Yeah.
The awareness.
Yes.
You become aware also of the people you are leading. Sometimes it could be you who is not understanding yourself.
Yes.
And the people are struggling to understand you.
Yes.
And it could be them not understanding you. So I think one has to be helped if we can put ourselves in the context of the group one is leading.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And still adaptability. Leadership is changing so quickly that if you as a leader are not keeping in tune with the changes, there is like a flood. You'll
be swept away.
You'll be swept out. So when you're leading a people, it's good to understand sometimes it's not about always directing. Although leaders are called to lead and direct, it's not all leadership is about directing. Some of the best leaders are actually focused on equipping people and inspiring as opposed to directing. It's what you call bottom-up leadership as opposed to top-bottom leadership.
Bishop, in Kenya, that statement.
I know. It's a misused.
Anyway, it's a good statement, of course.
Yeah.
We can't run away from it just because it has been used in another.
No, it works very well actually when it's used in the right perspective.
Yeah.
It's really using the ideas of people, gathering ideas from the people down there that you are leading to generate a strategic leadership model based on the information that you've gotten, as opposed from you as the leader, bring it down from what you're thinking and what you're doing and expect to trickle down to the person down there. Allow it sometimes to, both models are good, but the one that comes from bottom up is what is working nowadays, because people are more democratic in thinking, people are exposed to information, as opposed to sometimes before, whereby it's only the leader who had exclusive monopoly on information.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so adaptability. So the reason why I said we'll come back to that, I remembered, being involved in a discussion where people felt that their leader is outdated, like he should mark himself expired. He is not communicating to the people. He is not able to augur with the people. And the people feel like we need to leave him to lead himself. And it was very difficult. Because this person, like for example, in a church, if people feel like the pastor is not communicating, the first thing is we come with the scriptures.
Yes.
Touch not the anointed.
Yes.
Honor. Don't disrespect.
Yeah.
But when I listened, I could tell this man needs to accept that he refused to change. The people changed. Now, and you can only direct him with, compare him with a cartoon I saw somewhere of a team that were a group of people who are hands, walking together, and a man was behind them, running. Then he was asked, hey, what's going on? He says, you see that group? I'm their leader, I'm catching up with them. Yeah, so he was catching up, and was a leader.
Yeah.
So, and I could tell this man has refused to change. Now, when that happens, what do you do? Here you have a group, like the man is asking, here you have a group, and you can tell purely the issue is with the leadership. And the person stands there and says, I am, for example, if the church you say, I'm the founder. What do we do? Kama ujiski, enda uanze yako. And people are here feeling like, I wish you would understand that dynamics have changed.
They have a lot, Apostle, a lot. And every leader, I want to encourage every leader listening to me, please update your information, update your knowledge. Because the people you're leading, some of them know more than yourself. Even the people we preach to, there are people who are very deep in with the word than we who are preaching. So if you're not always updating and being knowledgeable, because again, leadership is about knowledge.
Yeah.
You can only take people where you've been. If you don't have the knowledge of where you have been or where you take people, they will not follow you. And I have this maxim philosophy that you heard me talk about. The Bible says, in the book of Hosea, my people perish for lack of knowledge. Meaning, God's people, you can perish even if you're a child of God.
In fact, the same Bible Hosea says,
Yes.
Talks to priests. He says, I called you,
Yes.
you are mine.
Yes.
But because you have rejected knowledge. I've rejected you.
Exactly. Exactly.
So there are people who are called,
Yeah.
but along the way they were rejected.
But
people don't know.
Exactly.
Because of lack of knowledge.
They are not updating. Leadership is all about updating.
Wow.
Always updating. Every day you're growing. As your people grow, you should always be a step ahead of your people. Because if you are not knowledgeable, there's what you say, if you are not updated with knowledge and wisdom and information, you'll be outdated.
Wow.
And that's a fact. Yeah. If you're not updated, you'll be outdated. If you're not inspired, you expire.
Wow.
So as a leader, make sure that you are always ahead of the people that you are leading. Whether in secular world, even when I was a general manager, it was on me to make sure that I had the authority. In other words, I was an authority in what I was leading the people. And that's why sometimes we find the world is doing a little bit better in business than the church. Because they have put their time to understanding whether it's medicine, whether it is law, whether it's management, and they know it. But when you come to church, you are a pastor, and you are not knowledgeable of what you're teaching. You're getting your sermons from YouTube or from hearing out. You're not able. I mean, so and this is a wide one. Knowledge is very important as a leader.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Thank you so much. Bishop, I keep reading this because I tell people this show is your show.
Yes.
I'm here because what we are doing is what you ask us to do.
Yes.
And so Sarah asked a question. Maybe this we may address today or another day, but says I need some knowledge on church record keeping in every department. I think Sarah, we are going to look at that because for today we are just on balanced leadership. That is a good question. I don't know whether you would want to just throw something or maybe as we move on. But she's asking how to get knowledge on church record. And what you do, Sarah, is write to me in my Facebook, Apostle Patrick Muriithi Nyaga. Go there, write to me. I am going to help you. I also direct you on somebody who can handle that so well, so that at least you are helped, because you'll get more information in that. So go to my Facebook account, Apostle Patrick Muriithi Nyaga, drop a message there, and I'll answer you. Yes. So we abandoned the 4 A's.
Yes.
So let's move further. Balanced leadership.
Yeah, I think the fifth one was not part of the A, was knowledge. Yeah, being knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Of the subject, of your people, of your field, and I think we've just tackled that.
Yes.
The other important aspect that has helped me is integrity as a leader.
Yeah.
Yeah, integrity as a leader. You can talk much, but your action speaks louder than your words.
Yeah.
And as a leader, we are implored to lead by example. So our integrity should herald us wherever we are going. So I've tried to do that. I am not claiming to be perfect. I have my own flaws. I've failed sometimes. But I always try to push myself towards the standard of integrity. And I'm not just talking about once, I'm talking about integrity holistically. I'm talking about integrity in your relationships, with the people. I'm talking about integrity in your finances, the way you handle your finances. I'm talking about integrity in terms of purity. I'm talking about integrity in terms of your social network. What I cannot do in public, I should not do in private. So that's another aspect that I consider as part of balanced leadership.
Bishop, you have mentioned something.
Yeah.
On a relationship. Allow me to ask this.
Yes.
Okay, many people, I know some of my friends will say, oh, Apostle, you're so relational. But then I keep saying, well, keep talking like that until you meet another man who I know is relational, and that is Bishop Kingori. Leadership is about relationship.
Yes.
And I think you are better placed to tell us these dynamics of relationship. In a balanced leadership, you need to keep relationships. But how do you, what is the chemistry that keep your people together? I remember I happened to be in a council in your ordination, and all these people that said we were with them in high school, we were with them in, 40 years plus relationship that have been together. And of course, that is part of leadership, as you have mentioned, relationship. What keeps that moving? What holds these relationships? I know somebody would be helped to hear that. There are people who don't care. Oh, I met Bishop Kingori last year. We transacted. We are done. The next time there will be a call. Maybe he is in need of you again.
Well, I would say that is part of my grace, because I won't say that I'm the best. But what I try to do is I appreciate everybody who comes to my life, and I mean I honestly give them the due respect, the due time they require. If someone calls me, I believe that that person has called me because they think about me, not just they were idle. So I try the best I can to return a call. I try the best I can to build and to maintain relationships, Apostle. Because my father told me many years ago that watu ndio mali. I don't know how you can translate that in English.
What?
Watu ndio mali. That your treasure or your next breakthrough could be locked in somebody that you met yesterday. So when I meet people, I want to understand why this convergence. What is there for them in me, and what's there for me in them? You get the point? I try also to endear myself to them. I give them the time they require. I get connected to the activities. In other words, I appreciate them. For example, you'll be surprised that the mere acknowledgement somebody's birthday to people may not be important, but the fact that I recognize that you are celebrating your birthday and I acknowledge you and I send you that in a Facebook, that is enough for you to believe I love you, and for which I do. Wow. So being able to celebrate people's moments in life and being able to be there in times of need, I think those are the things that because people don't care how much you tell them you care until they see that you care for them.
Wow.
So I would say that's what I've kept my, and again, being a person, a people person, I think people matter a lot. And my wife will tell you that I'll go to any extent to be there for people and friends, because I value them a lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Let me, in this WhatsApp, YouTube people, don't throw stones. I was to come your way. Karen Kebuchi says, learning, balanced leadership. Pastor Watata. Hey, Pastor Watata, I know you. He says, connected and learning. Reverend Bernard Waroi, authentic, very deep and true. Reverend Waroi, the Lord bless you. Remember, this seat where Bishop is sitting on is waiting. We agreed you are going to come here, so keep preparing. Then Pastor Grace, you know this relative of mine?
Yes, I know your relative.
Says, do you understand the people you lead? Good question. Yeah, that's a good one. Kimathi Charles Wakili says, balance leadership as ears on the ground and resonate with the problem facing the people. That is where now bottom up came.
Yes.
I love that. And says, Stephen Muriithi says, if as a leader you don't keep up with the changes, you will be swept away. Seller, that's powerful. You need to be transformer. You need to be transformer. Seek to change. Equip others. Always be informative. Wakili says that. Steve Kamau says, what if a leader is so adamant to change? What should you do? Is a question. This leader is so adamant to change. What should we do? And as you answer that, Pastor Grace says, our integrity should herald us to where we are going.
Wow.
Bishop, people are being helped.
Thank you.
I'm telling you, people are being helped. Wow.
Maybe I can say last one thing before I answer the question. The other aspect of balanced leadership is time management.
Is what?
Time management. This is huge.
Yeah.
Everybody, whether you are the head of the state, or you are just a standard one prefect, everybody has 24 hours. And sometimes I get disappointed when we don't use time wisely. And the Bible talks about redeeming the time. And most leaders sometimes are not good in managing time. And one way to manage time is to keep your promises. If you, for example, you told me this discussion is 7:30, I must make sure that I honor that.
Yeah.
Because if I don't honor you, tomorrow you will not feel like you need to invite me. So as leaders, I want to encourage and challenge ourselves. Keep time. It doesn't matter whether you're meeting your son or your daughter, or you're meeting your member, or you're meeting your worker. If you tell them it's 9, make it exactly 9. even when it comes to church. If the service is supposed to start 10:30, make it 10:30, whether you're one or two. Don't wait for people. Time management is very important because that's how people know you respect them and you respect their time.
Wow.
So I want to mention that. That's the other thing for balanced leadership. Time management, because all of us have the same time. The beggar, the rich person, God has given all of us same time. And the difference between the rich and the poor is not so much their talents or money, it's how they use their time.
Wow.
So some of us, we walk on the streets, but nobody knows we wake up at 4 in the morning. What you do between 4 and 7 o'clock is that make the whole difference. When somebody else is still, and I'm not saying that there are people who work too late on the other side.
Yeah.
But time management is very important also. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very powerful.
Yeah.
Do we answer that question?
The question again?
What if a leader is so adamant to change? What should you do?
If the leader is adamant to change, meaning that they're inflexible and they don't want to change, I think my advice would be then that may not be the right leader for you. Because if they can't change, then you change. Yeah, because they will start in your way to your goals or to your destination. It's like you say, if the mountain is not moving, you have to know how to circumvent the mountain. Either go around the mountain or go for the mountain, but you must get to your destination.
Wow.
Yes.
That is very good.
Yes.
Now, we told people that we'll be telling them something.
Yes.
Bishop Kingori has been in the U.S. for many years. How many years now?
29 years.
29 years.
Yes.
And he has done amazing work in Dallas, U.S. He has started churches in other states. And the Lord spoke to him to come back to this country and start a ministry here in this country. What a blessing to have someone come and join and a team with us to do the work of a ministry. Bishop, I want to say first, I want to say karibu sana.
Thank you.
But it's good that you tell us where this is. Somebody may be asking, where is that? Please take this opportunity and tell us, because those who cannot get enough now can come and listen to you as you minister at the place where God has lent you to start this work.
Thank you so much, Apostle, for the opportunity to talk about this. Yes, by God's grace, we're starting Neema Gospel Church in Ruiru. Most people know Ruiru, and that's gonna be on Kingori Road. From Ruiru town is about a kilometer as you go towards Kingori Road on the tarmac. It's actually about 800 meters from the police station, and we are located right on the tarmac. Once you leave the police station and you're driving along that road, you'll be able to see a white tent written Neema Gospel Church in a place called Imani Estate, next to Imani Gardens. Imani Gardens is known as a wedding place where people have weddings, and that's where we'll be starting our services from September the 15th. It's going to be on a Sunday. That's when we'll be launching our church, September 15th, 2 p.m., but be there early because we are expecting a lot of people. And I want to say this, by the grace of God, we were established and we were successful in the U.S. like Apostle has said. And he has been to our church, that.
Yeah.
We are not coming back to Kenya because we failed in the U.S. No. We are not coming to Kenya because we have failed. No.
Actually, I wish I was the one saying that. I tell you this, if really it was about staying somewhere because we are successful,
yes,
this man should not come to Kenya.
Yes.
His church, his ministry is doing amazing, That's a place where you think, you'd call destiny. If you are looking for where destiny is, you'd call that destiny. So I am saying this to say, truly this man is coming here. He is leaving an established ministry,
yes,
and thriving, one. And he comes here. Bishop, that is the call of God.
Thank you.
That is really a call of God.
Thank you.
And we are going to support you.
Thank you.
And I'm asking all the viewers who are there, 15th of September. Let us go to Ruiru and support this man of God. I mean, if we are sharing just that, or those, nuggets of wisdom in that short time, and the seated. Imagine when he is doing it almost the Kenyan style, walking around, jumping, holding a microphone. Glory be to Jesus. On 15th, 2 p.m., Ruiru, that is where we will be, celebrating the Lord as we tell this man of God, Karibu Kenya.
Thank you.
And I think as you come here, Bishop, I also thank God that you have said some things that are very powerful. What have you seen about Kenyans that is different from the Kenyan here and the people you did in the US that tells you have to lead adjust? We agreed the issue must be very practical.
Well, I think the first thing that I just can be positive or negative.
Of course,
yeah,
that is you.
Yeah. One of the things I want to, is time management. That's an area that there's a big disconnect. The way people deal with time here and the way you deal with time there. I'm hoping that those that God will bring into our quarters or into our fellowship, we can be able to sharpen each other's ability to keep time. And I can tell you our service will be time punctual. Yeah, I can tell you that. It's 1 hour, it's 1 hour. For me, the things to adjust is I've really admired the way people are hungry for God here. And I think that's something I feel will boost my appetite for God.
Yeah.
Spending time and also, being there for other people. So there are a lot of, also in terms of social connectivity, there's a lot of social value here than you find in the US, because the US is a more individualistic society.
Yeah.
Each person for themselves and God for us all. But here is the opposite. Everybody matters and we are part of the community. And although that is big in me, I feel I can take it to the next level because we live in a community and community is everything. That's why in our church we have one of our core values is community.
Yeah.
Community. And we're big in that area. And there are many other things that are good that I've learned in this nation and I see in this nation that we will also pick up as we go on, even as you try to blend with some of the things that we think are good from the other side, and be able to come up with a blended kind of version. The good here, the good there, and then we blend together, and I believe it will come something good.
And the other day, Bishop, I was checking, and Kenya is rated second globally in terms of generosity.
Generosity, yes.
What do you think about that?
Oh yeah, that's big. That's huge. Yeah, that's huge. People are generous a lot here, quite a lot. But I also believe even that generosity, it should have its limits, because again, there's also there's excessive abuse of that generosity. People taking advantage, even for things that I believe they should be responsible for themselves. Because I believe in accountability and responsibility. People should be responsible for some of their things. So it's a good thing. We have felt it. We have experienced the generosity of people. But also it should be done with good measure.
With moderation.
Moderation, yes, that's what it is.
Wow, man. I have a few things to say here to read, but time may not allow. But Stephen Muriithi says, leadership requires integrity, so important, all out end. And I think today, man, 1 hour is just gone.
Yeah.
And we can only talk of what next. But for now, I want to say thank you so much. Remember, Tuesday, we will be here again, talking about leadership. Of course, on Sunday, there's a place called Kayole. Some people say, can something good come out of Kayole?
Yes.
Gospel Celebration Church Kayole.
Yes.
That is where I minister, GCC Kayole, and I welcome you there to our services, and it will be a blessing. Meanwhile, keep writing, keep talking to us. We have a way of reaching us. The Facebook number is there. The YouTube, you can listen to more, teachings. Just go to Apostle Patrick Muriithi Nyaga, and you get especially what we call a story with Apostle Patrick. God bless you. See you next time. From our side, we say, Shalom.
Shalom. Amen.